In this lesson, we're going to add more detail to our diffuse map. Alright, so in this lesson, we're going to begin taking our texture from a 2D standpoint to where it looks very flat. And we're going to start adding detail to make it a little more believable. We're going to start adding a little bit of like griminess, and we're going to bring out our highlights just to make it look like a little sharper around these edges and things like that. Now our ambient occlusion does a pretty good job, but it just doesn't have those highlights that we need to make this look a little more believable. So what I want to do is I want to select these edges, these darker edges around my bricks, and we know that one way we can do that is by using our normal map that we did in the last lesson. But I'm going to be changing my normal map layer to get the right selection. So I want to make a copy of this. So I'm going to hit Control J, and we're going to deselect everything, or hide everything except for our normal copy. We're going to go to Channels and then select our blue channel. Now with the blue channel selected, let's go to Select. Well, we really don't need to do that. Let's just go to the blue channel, and we'll go to Filter, Stylize, and Find Edges. Now what this is going to do is it's going to take the dark colors in the image, and it's going to separate those and kind of create an outline around those, and it finds very sharp edges and creates kind of an outline for that and makes them a little bit darker. So that's why we can see all of our different edges in our stone more clearly here. Now there's a problem with this. It's still very light, and this is not going to be helpful for us whenever we apply this. Now this is going to make the specular highlights a little bit too sharp. So we want to blur this a little bit. So let's go to Filter and Blur, and we can do that a couple of different times here. Now let's just do 3 for good measure. And we should be pretty good at this point. Now what I want to do is I want to go to Image, Adjustments, and Levels, and just kind of push that up and make those a little bit darker. Okay, so around 150 should be pretty good, and we'll hit OK on this. Now I want to take everything that's in this with my marquee selection, and I'm going to right click, and actually let's just select everything and hit Control C. Okay, let's go into our layers, and we're going to hit Control V. Okay, let's hit a new layer. Now try Control V. There we go. And let's just call this Highlights. Okay, great. Now with this, let's invert the color. So I'm going to just hit Control I, and then I'm going to set this to, let's do linear dodge and see what that looks like. Let's first unhide all of our different layers, and let's put the highlights above all of our bricks and things like that. And this is pretty high. We might want to take this to something like color dodge. That's going to take it down a little bit. This does make it look a little bit like plastic. We may have taken the adjustment up a little bit too much, but this is easy fixed. We can actually take our opacity down and just drop that down a little bit to around 50% or so, and then we can see all of those edges, and that looks pretty good. We might go a little bit further down just to create that subtlety. Alright, so 40% looks really good here. Okay, so we've created those specular highlights, and now what we want to do is we want to get in and start to create kind of a grimy look on this brick. So this is actually taken care of pretty easily. We can bring in just a regular image of like a rock face or something like that. So I'm going to bring in an image that I just found on Google. Okay, and we're going to drop this right on our PSD. So let's grab our Move tool, drag that onto our document here, and you'll see that this is pretty small. I'm not going to stretch that by any means, but what I will do is I'm going to go ahead and just copy that layer and tile it across. Now this particular image that I found is tiled already, and so this just makes my life a little bit easier. Now this is not included in your project files. The reason for that is because we don't have specific rights to distribute this image, but you can find an image like it on Google. And so what we're doing is we're just creating kind of like a grimy overlay here. Okay, so with all of these selected, let's merge those layers. And what I want to do with this is I want to just kind of drop the opacity down on this, and it kind of creates a little bit more of a rocky pattern on our brick. Now, the one thing that it does take away for this is the overall debris that we have in the mortar in between our brick. So we want to select that area and mask this off. So let's go to our normal layer, and you can take your copy. Let's actually delete this copy. We don't need that any longer. So let's just go to our normal layer. Let's deselect everything except for the normal layer. Let's go to channels and then select the blue channel. Go to select by color range and select what we've been selecting as before. Let's actually redo that selection. So select by color range. Try that again. There we go. Got a little bit better selection there. So we're going to hit Shift, Control, and I. And with this selection, we're going to go to our layers. Let's unhide all of these. Okay, should be good here. And on layer 6, or layer 1, copy 6, let's go ahead and call this stone overlay. Okay, something like that. Let's go ahead and apply that mask there. Now, it looks like that stone is being put in the wrong place. So let's just simply hit Control I, and now we have inverted that layer mask, and now it's applied it to the correct place here. Alright, so we've got a brick texture here that looks really great. We could come in and we could do a few more tweaks here and there. You could come in and you could start to make some of the bricks a little bit darker. You could erase some of this the stone overlay away from that. You could do all kinds of little tweaks. But by this point, you have everything that you need to create any seamless texture that you want. We have gone from the beginning of creating seamless textures that were very easy to the most complex types of seamless textures that you would ever create using your own camera. And then we've even taken a step further by going into 3D, creating a seamless, tileable texture using 3ds Max, going into ZBrush, sculpting it out, getting the exact detail that we want, and then even taking those maps and bringing them into Photoshop and creating something spectacular. So I hope you guys have had a lot of fun in this course. I know that I have, and I would really love to see what you guys come up with on the forums. If you ever need any help with this course, don't be afraid to send me a private message. I'll help you as much as I can, as often as I can. So again, I hope you guys had fun, and I'll see you guys next time.